विश्वं दर्पण दृश्यमान नगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोध समये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये दूर्वादलद्युतितनुं तरुणाब्जनेत्रम् हेमाम्बरं वरविभूषणभूषिताङ्गम् कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीयकिशोरमूर्तिम् पूर्तिं मनोरथभुवां भज जानकीशम्. All right. So last time, let me just start my camera. Why is my camera on? Oh, okay. Yeah. So let me just share my screen now. All right. So I think we had come to Doha Chaupai block number 48 as such, and there was a sortha there which we had not unfolded. So we'll beginning reciting from that block. We'll go ahead. And we had some fuzzy ideas about the concept of time, how it evolves and things like that. We'll try and unfold that today as well. So this is where we had stopped at the Doha Chaupai block 48 K. Today we'll do K onwards. All right. हृदय विचारत जात हर केहि विधि दर्शन होई गुप्त रूप अवतरय प्रभु गए जान सब कोई शंकर उरति क्षोभु सती न जानहि मरमु सोई तुलसी दर्शन लोभु मन डरु लोचन लालची रावण मरन मनुज कर जाचा प्रभु विधि बचनु कीन्ह चह साचा जो नहीं जाऊं रहई पछितावा करत विचारु न बनत बनावा एहि विधि भय सोच बस ईसा तेहि समय जाई दस सीसा लीन्ह नीच मारी चहि संगा भयउ तुरत सोई कपट कुरंगा करि छलु मूढ़ हरि भय देहि प्रभु प्रभाव तस विदितन तेहि मृग बधि बंधु सहित हरि आए आश्रमो देखि नयन जल छाए बिरह बिकल नर इवर भुराई खोजत विपिन फिरत दो भाई कबहू जोग वियोग न जाके देखा प्रगट बिरह दुख ताके अति विचित्र रघुपति चरित जानहि परम सुजान जे मति मंद विमोह बस हृदय धरहि कछुआन. Okay, so what has been happening thus far? A quick recap, because this is going to get very fuzzy as we move on. So we have moved from the conversation that Goswamiji was having with us to the conversation that Yajnavalkya and Bharadvaja are doing. So the conversation that is happening now is between Yajnavalkya and Bharadvaj Muni. And Bharadvaj Muni then asks, O Yajnavalkya, is that Ram, who is the son of Dasharatha, the same that everyone worships as Parabrahma Ram? And Yajnavalkya gives him back a smile and says, don't be afraid of your question, because a similar question was asked by Mata Bhavani, Parvati, in the form of her former life, Sati, to Shiva. So you're not the first person that is asking this question, but this question was earlier asked by Parvati in the form of Sati to Shiva as well. And that is how the conversation then moves forward. Just give me 1 second. We have Sati asking the same question to Shivji, and Bharadvaja is told by Yajnavalkya saying, don't worry, the same question has been asked earlier as well. And then he goes on to explain the conversation between Sati and Shiva. So we have Tulsidas ji talking to us. The conversation then shifts to the Samvad of Bharadvaj and Yajnavalkya, and then it shifts to the conversation of Shivji and Parvati ji. And in that conversation, we have Shivji meeting Agastya Muni, and Agastya Muni telling Shivji the story of Ramayana. Eka Bharat Tretayugamahi is what we saw last time. And then Shivji regales Agastya with the stories of the bhakti of Ram. And while he's going back from the ashram of Agastya to the Kailasa mountain, he sees Ram going down in the forest below. So we have so many confusing things happening over here. The story of Ram and Sita being told by Agastya to Shiva, Eka Bharat Treta Yugamahi, once upon a time in Treta Yuga. So it's some earlier Ramayana that is being talked of. And then when the story is over and Shivji and Parvati ji are moving back, they see another Ramayana unfolding in which Ram is going into the forest together below. That's what Shivji sees. And then Shivji is now wondering that Ram has come to earth in the form of a human being to kill Ravana. If I go there explicitly and worship him, I will spoil the plot. I will give away the plot. So what should I do? That was the cliffhanger where we had left the story last time. So just leave these tracks of confusion where they are right now. Because this, we will try by the time we reach 11 o'clock today, the aim is to understand why such multiple tracks are going on. What are these multiple Ramayanas? What does this mean? And how do we compare and contrast it with the historicity of the Ramayana? That was one of the questions that was asked last time. So generally, when we are talking of the Ramayana from a historical academic perspective, we typically say it happened X thousand years ago. But in the unfolding of spiritual time, what exactly does this 5,000 year mean? It is but a speck of sand on the banks of Bhakti around the ocean of Ram. So that's where we had paused last time. And now we'll start the flow ahead. So, Hrudaya Bicharata Jatahara Kehi Bidhi Darasanu Hoi. In what way shall I have the darshan of Ram is what Shivji is wondering when he's flying back to Kailasa. Gupta Rupa Avatareu Prabhu Gaye Jana Sabu Koi. Because Sri Ram has come in the form of a human being, so he's Gupt. No one knows that he's divinity himself. But if I go there and bow down to him, the secret will be given away. So if I go, there's a problem. If I don't go, I'll not be at ease. What should I do? Sankara Ura Ati Chobo. His heart was worried. His mind was agitated with this, shall I do or shan't I do? Sati na janahi maramusoi. And his wife Sati did not know why her husband was so agitated. She was wondering what's wrong with him. Right now he was regaling in these stories of Ram, and suddenly he's so agitated. Why is it? Tulasi darasana lobhu manadaru lochana lalachi. And Tulsidas ji now comes back in the conversation. So from the triple layered conversation, Tulsi is now jumping in over there and saying, oh, in this conversation, Tulsidas ji thinks that because Shivji wanted to have that little sight of Ram, his mind was scared that if he goes there in that jiffy of wanting to see him, the secret of Sri Ram will be given away. But उनके लोचन थे, वो तो दर्शन के लिए लालची थे ही थे. So he's caught in this quandary, as they say, to be or not to be. He doesn't know what to do. And then we move on to the next Doha Chaupai block. Ravana Marana Manuja Karajacha, Prabhu Bidhi Bachanu Kinha Chahasacha. So then Shivji is now thinking in his mind, and through that thought, we are being told why Ram is born as a human being. Because the question that Bharadwaj is asking Yajnavalkya, is this Brahman that everyone is worshipping, this Ram Nam that is given as the Mukti secret in Kashi, the same person went into a turmoil because his wife, because he was separated from his wife. So if he is behaving like any human being, why is he taken to be divine? That was the crux of the question of Bharadwaj. So Ravana Marana Manuja Karajacha, and Ravana had asked for a vow that I will not be killed by the hands of animals or gods, etc. But in his pride and arrogance, he had forgotten to take humans in that series. So Sri Ram had to be born as a human being. Prabhu Vidhi Bachanu Keenha Chahasacha. Because the gods had requested that Ravana the demon be killed. So basically, Ahankara is the function of the human mind, which is Ravana, and it can be controlled not by external deities, but by the divinity within you, which is Sri Ram. That's the Adhyatmic unfolding of what's going on over here. Both Ahankara reside in us together with Ram and Sita as Prakriti and Parabrahman, as also Shraddha and Vishwas, which is Shivji and Parvatiji. Shraddha Vishwas Rupino. That was the opening verse. So we'll see how Shraddha and Vishwas start interplaying. The doubt that Sati casts is the lack of Shraddha. And she has to take a rebirth as Vishwas in the form of Parvati the next life. So many multiple threads being interwoven into the story over here. So Ravana Marana Manuja Karajacha, Prabhu Vidhi Bachanu Keenha Chahasacha, Jo Nahi Jaun Rahi Pachitawa. But even though I know that he's taken birth in a human form, Shivji is thinking to himself, if I don't go there, I'll regret that I did not take his darshan. I did not get that sight. Karata bicharu na banata banawa. And he's thinking to himself, but the problem is not resolving. वो जो ग्रंथि है वो छूट नहीं रही है. That the problem is still there. He doesn't know what to do. Ehi vidhi bhaye soch basa Isa, and the great Ishvara Shiva was pondering as to what should I do. Tehi samaya jai dasa sisa. At that very time, in the Ramayana that was unfolding below, he saw Ravan going across. Leena Nicha Maricha Hisanga, together with the Nich Maricha. This is basically the golden deer prasang. So earlier he had seen Ram going into the forest. Now, while he's engrossed in this thought as to how do I take the darshan of this Ram, of the Ramayana unfolding below, suddenly he sees Ravan and Marich coming. Leena Nicha Maricha Hisanga. So basically you are having, in modern cinema, we flash back in time. What Goswamiji is doing is he's panning out the camera and showing the whole Ramayana from the skies. That Ram is moving through the Dandaka forest. Ravan is now coming across through Marich. So he's panning out the camera and telling us the story from a top. Leena Nicha Maricha Hisanga Bhayau Turata Soi Kapata Kuranga. And immediately they played that plot in which Marich turned into a golden deer that Sita basically wanted hunted. Karichalu Mudha Hari Baidehi. And then through this plotting, they made sure that Ram could go there to kill this deer, this golden deer, and in which time Ravan could go and take away Sita. So the whole of the Ramayana is being told to us in again 3 or 4 lines. Leena Nicha Maricha Hisanga Bhayau Turata Soi Kapata Kuranga Karichalu Mudha Hari Baidehi Prabhu Prabhau Tasa Biditanatehi. And that he's not stealing some or taking away some mortal woman, but he's taking away Sakshat Prakriti Shakti Rupa Sita. This secret Ravan did not know. He was treating Ram as a mere human and his wife as another lady. Prabhu Prabhau Tasa Biditanatehi. He did not know the potency of Sri Ram. Mruga Badhi Bandhu Sahita Hari Aaye. Having killed the deer, Bandhu Sahit, which is Lakshman, Hari Aaye. Hari, who had taken birth in the form of Ram, came back. Ashrama Dekhi Nayana Jalachaya. And when he came back to his ashram, he saw that Sita wasn't there and immediately understood what had happened, and his eyes filled with tears. And Shivji is looking at all this from atop. Now just see the complexity and the sweetness of this story. Shivji is sitting with his better half, Sati. He is not separated. And he's seeing the separation of another divine pair, which is nothing but his own reflection. Hari and Har are one. We have seen that. Hari and Hara are one. And he's seeing that separation being played out below, that Sita is taken away, and Ram's eyes are filled with tears. And Shivji and Sati are looking at this from top. Mrugabadhi bandhu sahita hariyaye, ashramu dekhi nayana jalachaye. Piraha bikala nara iva raghurai. And this Shri Ram, whose potency personified, वो विभल हो रहे हैं एक नर की तरह. Like a mere human, he is pining in sorrow. Hojat bipina phirat do bhai. And in the forest, he is searching, where is this Sita? He's asking the trees, he's asking the flowers, he's asking the buds, he's asking the roots. There's a beautiful description of this in the Valmiki Ramayana. The two brothers are searching for Sita, saying, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? आश्रम देखी नयन जल छाए, पिरह बिकल नर इव रघुराई, खोजत बिपिन फिरत दो भाई, कबहू जोग वियोग न जाके, देखा प्रगट बिरह दुख ताके. That entity of divinity who can never go through attachment and detachment, that entity being in a human form is playing the leela of viraha and dukkha, of sorrow and the pangs of separation. So remember, no question is answered directly. Bharadwaj asks Yajnavalkya the question. Yajnavalkya says, don't worry, this question has been asked by others also. And then suddenly the Ramayana story is told to us, and indirectly the question is answered as to why Ram is behaving like a human. But it also means that that human has the potency to reach the divinity within us. So it is such a multi-layered text that we can talk on this one Doha Chaupai block for hours together. But anyhow, still we have not completely opened the carpet. There are many things that have been pushed below the carpet. What is the historical Ram? Was there any historical Ram that happened only once as the son of Dasharatha? Is that Ram worshipped as divinity? If he was a royal king and if he went through the pangs of separation from his wife, why do we worship him? All these questions are the flotsam and jetsam on which we are sailing in the waters of Sri Ram. And we will unfold this as we move on. So now Shivji is seeing the Ramayana unfolding below. Ati Vichitra Raghupati Charita. The story of Sri Ram is quite confusing. Ati Vichitra hai. Janahi Paramasujan. Only the well-meaning, well-versed people know what exactly it means. Jemati Manda Bimoha Basa. Those who are confounded and confused or lack that wisdom to see what he actually represents. Hudaya Darahi Kachuan. In their hearts, they hold him to be something else, even though they don't express their doubts. Okay? So this is how we are taken into this whole confusion of who Sri Ram is, saying, don't worry, this confusion has happened to many people earlier. It's not surprising that it is happening to you as well. So we have moved now at the end of Doha Chaupai block number 49. Just one remark on the structure here. Now, roughly until Doha Chaupai block 84, all Doha Chaupai blocks will be having 4 Chaupais and 1 Doha. It will move very smoothly in that structure. Earlier, when we were doing Sri Ram Nam Mahima, there used to be 7 or even 8 Chaupai blocks at times. So our speed in terms of pure Doha numbers will now be higher because the Doha Chaupai block has reduced in size to 4 as we are moving deeper into the story. Any questions on Doha Chaupai block number 49? If not, we move to Doha Chaupai block number 50. Sambhu samayate hi Ram hi dekha, उपजा ही अति हरसु बिसेखा, भरी लोचन छवि सिंधु निहारी, उसमय जानिन कीन्हि चिन्हारी, जय सच्चिदानंद जग पावन, अस कही चले मनोजन सावन, चले जात शिव सती समेता, पुनि पुनि पुलकत कृपानिकेता, सती सोदसा शंभु कै देखी, उर उपजा संदेहु बिसेखी, शंकरु जगत बंद्य जगदीसा, सुर नर मुनि सब नावत सीसा, तिन्ह नृप सुत ही कीन्ह परनामा, कही सच्चिदानंद परधामा, भय मगन छबिता सुबिलो की, अजहु प्रीति उर रहति नरो की, ब्रह्म जो व्यापक बिरज अज, अकल अनीह अभेद, सो की देह धरी होई नर, जाहि न जानत वेद। शंभु समय ते ही राम ही देखा। At that very point in which सीता जी का हरण हुआ था, Sita was taken away by Ravana. At that very point, now from the skies, Shiva sees Shri Ram. Upaja hiya ati harasu bisekha. And in his heart, there was a great joy that started emerging because he has seen his counterpart. Shivji is looking at Hari. Hara is looking at Hari. Shivji is looking at Shri Ram. Bharilochana chhabi sindhu nihari. His eyes now started welling up with tears, and then he started looking at this beautiful image of Ram panging. He is pining in separation, but the very form of Ram is giving great joy to Shiva. So remember that the eyes of Shri Ram earlier we had seen over there. Ashramu dekhi nayana jalachaye. The eyes of Shri Ram were full of water when he saw that Sita was not there. The same phenomenon happens to Shivji. Sambhu samayate hi Rama hi dekha, bhari lochana chhabi sindhu nihari. His eyes welled up with tears when he saw Shri Ram. So basically, this separation, this viraha, this dukkha, Shivji recognizes is all Leela. He is playing it out as a human being. He's enacting his human part so that Ravana is confused, but he is Hari himself, which is why Shivji's eyes well up with tears when he sees Ram pining in separation over there. Kusamaya jani na keen hi chinhari. He realized that in this unfolding of the Leela, this is a bad time to go and interrupt there saying, hello, I'm Shiva. He realizes that Shri Ram has to unfold his human sorrow, his human separation in this Leela. So he stays at a distance and says, let me just have the darshan from a distance. Jaya Satchidananda Jagapavana. And while he's going back, he just bows down from where he is without really entering the territory of the drama. He bows down from outside saying, Jaya Satchidananda, you are Sat, Chit and Anand, your Sakshat Brahman, Asakahi Chaleu Manojana Savana. And in such a manner, the killer of Kamadev moved on. Now, it looks very simple poetry over here that, okay, Shivji killed Kama. So Manoj is basically the name of Kama. And Manoj ka jinhone nash kiya, aise Shivji ka naam idhar Manoj Nasavan liya hai. But just see the layering that Goswami ji is doing. Shri Ram in his Leela is demonstrating how humans go through pangs of separation and sorrow, the basis of which is Kam. Right? And Shivji is Kam Nasavan. So that Shivji who killed Kam is enthralling by looking at Shri Ram, who is enacting in his human form the workings of Kam, which are being played out through his separation with Sita. So on the one hand, Shivji is Manoj Nasavan. On the other hand, Ram in his human form is going through the pains of separation as a function of Kam. And one Hari is being bowed down to by Hara. Chale jata siva sati sameta. And Shivji then says, there's no point interrupting this drama. I'll bow down from where I am. And then he starts moving on together with Sati to his abode in Kailasa. But as he's flying, he's looking back again and again, not wanting to let go of the sight of Ram. So Puni Puni Pulakata Krupa Niketa. His hair is standing on end. Ye pulak jo hai, which is horripilation, when our hair stand on end. Just peg this, park this idea. Let's park this idea because we are going to have a very beautiful reference to pulak, horripilations and body hair when we start unfolding this drama. So Puni Puni Pulakata Krupa Niketa. And when he was flying back to Kailasa, he turned back again and again because he did not want to take away his eyesight from Shri Ram. And then they continued the journey with Shivji looking back again and again towards Ram. Sati so dasa sambhu keh dekhi. Now Sati is watching all this, that this is my husband Sakshat Ishvara. He's, calling Sri Ram Satchidananda. I look at Ram and he's acting like a normal human being suffering from sorrow. What is going on? So Sati is now completely confused. Sati so dasa Shambhu keh dekhi. Sati, looking at this situation of Shambhu, in which he was overwhelmed looking at Ram, who according to Sati was a mere mortal who was separated from his wife. What's the big deal? Why is Shivji bowing down to him? Ura upaja sandehu biseshi. And in her heart, she started having a lot of doubt as to why is Shiva, my husband, who is all-powerful, omnipotent, bowing down to someone who's suffering from sorrow and is acting like a mere human being. Sati so dasa Shambhu keh dekhi, ura upaja sandehu bisekhi, Sankaru jagata bandya jagadisa. My husband Shankara is worshipped by the whole world. Her ladylike wifely pride comes into being, and she says, this is my husband whom the whole world worships as Shiva. He's Jagadish. He's the ruler of the world. Sura Nara Muni Saba Navata Sisa. The gods, Suras, human beings. So Ram is a human being here. He should bow down to him. Munis, everyone bow down their heads to my husband Shiva. Why is he bowing down to Ram? Tinhan Rupa Sutahi Kinha Paranama. This Shiva, who is my husband, has bowed down to a mere princeling. He's a prince, Dasharatha's son, whose wife was taken away by some Ravana. Why is Shiva so enthralled looking at him and bowing down to him? Tinhan Rupa Sutahi Kinha Paranama, Kahi Satchidananda Paradhama. He not only bowed down to him, but he hailed him as Satchit Anand. Bhaye Magana Chabitasu Biloki. And he went into a trance looking at Sri Ram. Ajahu Priti Ura Rahati Naroki. And even now, when we are moving on, he's turning back again and looking at him. What is going on? So Sati is on the one hand confused. On the other hand, her pride has taken a beating, saying, my husband is being worshipped by everyone. He shouldn't be bowing down to a mere princeling, and he's doing that. So she doesn't know what is going on. Brahma jo byak paka biraja aja akal anih abhed soki deha dari hoinara jahina janat abhed. And if my husband is bowing down to him, then it has to be that Param Tattva Brahman, right? And that Param Tattva Brahman is Vyapak. He's all-pervading. He's Biraj. He cannot be fooled. There's no Raja. There's no confusion when you see at him, when you look at him. He's Aja. He's unborn. He's Akala. He cannot be fathomed by our five senses. He is Aniha. He doesn't have any wishes. He's Abhed. He's indivisible. He's infinite. Now, if Shivji is bowing to this potency, why will that potency, so ki deha dhari hoinara, be born as a human being who is suffering sorrow with his wife being taken away from him? Why would Shivji bow down to him? Jahina janat abhed. That tattva, even the Vedas called neti neti. And if that essence is going to be a mere princeling who is suffering sorrow from separation, I don't get it, says Sati. So basically, Sati is reflecting our own internal questions that we have pushed under the carpet so far, saying, who is Sri Ram? The question, the jury is still out. We still don't know who is he. But the questions are now being formulated in a more intense manner, so much so that it puts to shame all modernist re-questionings of the Ramayana. Last time I had mentioned that don't think of Goswamiji's work as a mere hagiography of Sri Ram. Do not have a view that ye to bas bhakti bhav hai. He is addressing each and every question that troubles the modern mind, but he does it so softly in a story form that we don't even know what he's doing. But if you look at the questions over here, why are you bowing down to a mere princeling who is, suffering the pangs of sorrow when you should be bowing down to Brahman? What is going on? Who is Sri Ram? Okay, that's where we take a break for questions and we move on to an explanation of why all this is happening. Yeah, Sajid.
So this is regarding. Sorry. Okay, it's my voice.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is about Shivji's tears. So while I do hear you say that he's with his beloved and he's seeing Sri Ram separated from his beloved and therefore the tears, but I don't know why that doesn't seem adequate to me. Is it just, so why the tears? He can just have an understanding of the fact that, there is separation and there is pain because it's the human, sorrow, birth, all that. No, story. But any thing about, because my mind suddenly made its own story. So I said before I go deep into my own version of it. Anything on that?
Yeah. So thanks, Sajali, for asking that. Maybe my articulation was not clear enough. The tears of Ram are the pangs of separation, but the tears of Shiva are not because of he's seeing Ram being separated. The tears, they are tears of joy of seeing Ram himself, because he knows what Ram represents. Sati is confused as to why Shivji is bowing down and getting into a trance, looking at a mere prince, who's going through sorrow. So the confusion is on Sati's side. Shivji fully knows. Hari fully knows who Hara is. Hara fully knows who Hari is, because the two of them are one.
So the tears of joy.
Yes, totally.
I see.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Anything else from anyone? Okay, so this is one layer of complexity that we've now added. We still don't have a real resolution to the question. We have just said he has taken human form because he has to keep the secret of his divinity, because that's the only way that you can kill Ravana. Ravana is ahankar or ego, and it is us as humans who can kill that ego because we have divinity within us. That's the adhyatmic unfolding of what this interplay of Ram and Ravan and Sita is going on. Maybe we'll take one more verse, because there's a beautiful chanda over here, and then we'll go back to a little anthology or a collection I've put on of various ideas of yugas and things like that, which will then really make us fully understand what this Rama Tattva is. I think 4 sessions back we had said बस भी और ही का फर्क है. भगवान निर्गुण ही है करके कोई एक पंथवादी बात करते हैं, कोई सगुण पंथवादी कहते हैं भगवान सगुण ही है. बस ही और भी का फर्क है. और गोस्वामी जी's विजन इज भगवान निर्गुण भी है, सगुण भी है. ही छोड़िए, भी लगाइए. Forget that adhyata saying this is my way or the highway. Be ready to accept that the divinity comes in many forms. So we'll start unfolding that. Let's do this Chand Doha Chopai block, because this is the first Chand that is being introduced now at Doha Chopai block number 51. Let's do that and then move on. So this is Sati's question. She's not convinced. She's not convinced with her husband saying this is divinity personified. She has her doubts. She wants to go to the root of it. And she's thinking that all this is being pushed under the carpet. My questions are not being addressed. I need to know who this Ram is. So now, विष्णु जो सुरहित नरतनुहारी, सो सर्वज्ञ जथा त्रिपुरारी, खोजै सो की अज्ञ इव नारी, ज्ञान धाम श्रीपति असुरारी, शंभुगिरा पुनि मृषान होई, शिव सर्वज्ञ जान सब कोई, अस संशय मन भयउ अपारा, होई न हृदय प्रबोध प्रचारा, यद्यपि प्रगटन कहेउ भवानी, हर अंतर जामी सब जानी, सुनहि सती तव नारी सुभाऊ, संशय असन धरियउ रकाऊ, जासु कथा कुंभज ऋषि गाई, भगति जासु मैं मुनि सुनाई, सोई मम इष्ट देव रघुबीरा, सेवत जाहि सदा मुनि धीरा, मुनि धीर जोगी सिद्ध संतत, बिमल मन जेहि ध्यावहि, कहि नेति निगम पुराण, आगम जासु कीरति गावहि, सोई राम व्यापक ब्रह्म भुवन निकाय पति, मायाधनी अवतरेयु अपने भगत हित, निज तंत्र नित रघुकुल मणि, लागन उर उपदेशु, जदपि कहेउ सिम बार बहु, बोले बिहसि महेशु, हरि माया बलु जानि जिय. Now Sati ji is thinking to herself, my husband has gone into a trance worshipping this prince of a man, but I'm not going to blindly follow him. I have my doubts and they need to be addressed. And until they are fully addressed, I'm not going to give way. So she now starts reflecting to herself, Vishnu jo surahita naratanudhari. That Vishnu, I accept that he has taken a human form because he wants to be a benefactor to the gods. The gods have requested him to, take birth in the form of a human being. So I understand that this prince that is moving around below in the forest is basically a Hari in the form of a human being. But Sau Sarvagya Jatha Tripurari, that Hari is also all-knowing, all-pervading, omnipresent, omnipotent, just like my own husband Tripurari, Shivji. So basically she's saying that Hari and Hara are same, I know that. But even if he is taken a human form, he doesn't have to go all the way, khojai so ki agya ivanari, like an ignorant human being looking for a woman and falling into the trap of separation and sorrow. I get that he's born as a human, but he doesn't have to go all the way to the extremities of humanity and demonstrate all these pangs, because he's a Gyandham, he's a storehouse of knowledge. Shripati, Asurari, and he's the enemy of the demons. So anyhow, Ravana is going to be killed. So he doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to do an extreme act. I get it that he's born as a human being, but he doesn't have to display his viraha on the sleeve. I don't get that, says Sati. Sambhugira puni mrushana hoi. Now she's confused because she trusts and respects her husband completely. She says, but he has bowed down to her, to him, and he has called him Satchid Anand. So his words are not going to be false. Sambhugira puni mrushana hoi. शिवजी की जो गिरा है, वाणी है, उनके जो शब्द है, वो तो झूठे नहीं हो सकते. शिव सर्वज्ञ जानु सब कोई. He is all knowing and all pervading, just like Hari. Everyone knows that. Asa sansaya mana bhayavu apara. And she got extremely confused in her own mind. That I am not convinced. At the same time, my husband cannot be wrong. But I'll not wait at this and let it go. I need to go to the bottom of it. Hoina Hudaya Prabodha Prachara. Her heart was not satisfied. Her mind was not quiet. The doubt still remained. Jadyapi Pragatana Kaheu Bhavani. Bhavani did not give expression to these words. She kept thinking about it in her own mind. Hara Antara Jami Sabajani. Shivji is knowing what is going on in her mind because he's Antaryami. He knows exactly what's going on in one's mind. Now I take you back to the opening verse to the opening invocation of the Rāmacaritamānasa. Shraddha Vishwas Rupino. Shivji and Parvati ji are Shraddha and Vishwas. Shivji and Parvati ji are one and the same in the form of half woman, half man, Ardhanarishwar form. So he's not doubting his wife as the other woman. This self-doubt is within us, being represented by Sati. There is a complete union of Sati and Shiva, of Parvati and Shiva as Ardhanari Nateshwar or Ardhanarishwar. We have seen that the two represent Shraddha and Vishwas, and it is this feminine half of our own being that casts this doubt. It is the masculine half that thinks through, but only with the intellect. The two need to submerge. That will take us beyond the intellect into wisdom. So this play of the feminine and masculine that resides in each and every one of us is being demonstrated over here through the dialogue of Shiva and Sati. So Shivji has understood exactly what is going on in Sati's mind, even though Sati has not given expression to it. Okay. This is just amazing the way Goswamiji has structured this whole thing. Hara antara jami sabajani sunahi sati tava nari subhav. And then he tells Sati, listen, your character is that of a woman because you are a woman. Sansaya asana dharya urakau. Don't have any doubts as to why am I bowing down to him, because that Brahman that you know is me as Hara, that very Brahman is that Shri Ram being born as a human doing his Leela that I am bowing down to. So Shivji understands the doubt of Sati, says, don't cast this doubt. Trust me, Shraddha Vishwasa Rupino, that this is that Shri Ram, that very Hari that I am bowing down to. Jasu Katha Kumbhaja Rishigai. Now this gets even more confusing because Sati has seen this happening below, right? This is one Ramayana happening below. But Kumbhaj, Agastya, has told Shivji of a Ramayana that has happened earlier. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to tell it. This Ramayana had happened earlier. So now Shivji is telling Sati, Jasu Katha Kumbhaja Rishigai, the story that was told to me by Agastya Muni, Bhagati Jasu Mai Muni hi sunai. And I regaled him with the stories of bhakti of that Ram. Soi mama ishtadeva Raghubira. That very Ram is my ishtadev, and he is that Raghubir, that princeling that you're calling as a mere human. It's that very Ram who has come again as an avatara. Sevata jahi sada munidhira. It is him that the great munis worship with a lot of mental quietude. So cast aside all your doubts. It is him, that divine form, that has taken birth as Sri Ram. And then he breaks into a chand. Munidhira jogi siddha santata bimala manajahi dhyavahi. If you have a clean mind, or the great munis, those who have done yoga with a lot of patience and duress, siddha santata bimala, siddha santata, who have continuously through their siddhis with a clean mind worshipped that divinity, kahi neti neti nigama purana agama jasu kirati gavahi. The Vedas call it neti neti. It cannot be fathomed through the senses. It is beyond description of words. But the Puranas and the Agamas sing the glories of that form in the Sagun Leela. So the Puranas sing the glories of its Sagun manifestation, whereas the Vedas say that the Nirguna form is neti neti. No one can fathom that. Soi Ram, both these tattvas, Nirgun and Sagun, are that very Ram. Soi Ramu Vyapaka Brahma Bhuvana Nikaya Pati Mayadhani. He is the Pati, he is the master of Maya. He pervades all the universes. Not only all the universes, Brahma Bhuvana Nikaya, groupings of many Brahmandas. We'll come to that when we move on to the slide deck. He pervades the groupings of many Brahmandas, but is beyond them. Avatarayu, he has taken form. उन्होंने अवतार लिया है अपने भगत हित, for the benefit of his bhaktas. Nijatantra nita raghukulamani, through his own tantra. He is not a function of calm. He wished to be born and he was born. It is not through some punya sukrut and pap punya matrix that he has taken birth. It is his own wish through which he manifests as Sri Ram. So Sati, cast all your doubts aside. This is that very Ram that everyone worships. Sati says, well, I'm not convinced. Lagana ura upadesu jadapi kaheu seva barabahu. She says, I'm not going to just accept it because you are my husband and you're telling me to accept it. My doubt is not going away. Jadapi kaheu seva barabahu. Shivji is telling her again and again. He's pleading her, please listen to me. This is how it is. And she says, no, not satisfactory. Your answer is not satisfying me. Bole bihasi mahesu. Then Shivji gave up and he just, gave a little smile and said, Hari Maya balu janijiya. I know the trappings of Maya because Sati is Maya herself. So on the one hand, Brahman is accessible through Shakti, through Bhakti, but if it acts as Maya, it takes us away from it. So it is a double-edged sword or a two-sided coin. It is Maya, it takes you away from it and hides Brahman from you. But that very Maya as Shakti takes you towards Brahman. And now he says that Sati is enacting the role of Maya. God help her. I have done my deal. I have told her what Ram represents. Sati is not satisfied. So he says, Maunam sarvartha sadhe. Now I'll go into meditation and stay mute. You find your answers for yourself. I cannot give you further answers because your doubt is not casting away. He does not tell her to believe blindly. Remember, he is telling his wife, I have told you what I think is right. If your doubt is still not cast away, I have nothing more to add. You find it out for your own. And then Sati goes on to find this out on her own. Any questions so far? Up to Doha Chaupai block 51. Yeah, Sajali.
Sure. Not a question, but I think it's just the last time you reminded us that, the Veda, or maybe the time before, that Vedas can ride on this. And this whole reference of Maya just triggered that again, that, the whole wailing Avarana Shakti of Maya is very simply brought forth. So just that connection.
Yeah, I mean, the deepest principles of Vedanta are introduced to us and we don't know that we have understood them, but we have. Because the story is used as a wave on which all these concepts ride. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
मुझे तो बहुत ही बेसिक एक डाउट है. डाउट यानी मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि पार्वती जी को शंका क्या थी, मतलब उन्हें क्यों, क्या लग रहा था उन्हें? क्या बता सकते हो कि क्या सोच रही थी वो, कि राम शिव जी के बताने के बाद भी वो क्या सोच रही थी? क्योंकि ये तो बताया ही गया था कि वो सदैव हैं, मतलब मानव रूप में, मनुष्य रूप में विष्णु जी हैं। तो उसके बाद उन्हें शंका क्या थी? एक्चुअल शंका क्या थी उनके मन में, पार्वती जी के मन में?
Ji. I think ma'am is just asking this because I'm sure she knows the answer herself, but she's
नहीं
just asking this so,
नहीं
so that
नहीं,
everyone gets the answer. So,
No, it is the simplicity of Ram that is confusing Parvati.
yeah.
That he
So,
is knowing that he is God himself, Brahman himself. He is behaving like a mortal being. The simplicity of his being.
और उसके बाद राम की उन्होंने परीक्षा ली, तो ये तो मतलब
जी,
बहुत ही बड़ी बात हो
yeah,
गई
yeah.
कि ये कि सच में जानने के लिए कि ये सचमुच सर्वज्ञानी है या नहीं है क्या, इतनी इतनी छोटी सी परीक्षा को वो मतलब नहीं जान पाएंगे, ये तो बहुत बड़ा संशय उन पे उसने दिखा दिया। तो
जी,
तो
जी.
ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि उन्हें क्या असल में शंका थी, क्या वो कौन थे उनके हिसाब से?
Right. So Sati over here is Parvati in her earlier form. So it is basically representing the doubt, continuous doubt that we have in our mind.
हम्म,
He is a representation of that doubt that exists in our mind. That
yes,
doubt has to be washed away and be reborn as Parvati as Vishwas. So
true.
Sati is basically representing that continuous hum of doubt. So over here, ma'am, to answer your very specific question, she says, I understand that he has taken human form. I get
हम्म,
it, because that's the only way that Ravana can be killed. But why is he going overboard? वो लीला में इतने रममाण क्यों हो रहे हैं कि ताकि हरेक को लगे कि वो सामान्य मानव है? वो उच्च कोटि के मानव भी तो हो सकते हैं कि वो विरह कंट्रोल में रखे, रोए ना, पेड़ों से पूछे ना कि सीता कहाँ है, जड़ और चेतन का भेद भी भूल के वो पर्वतों को, पेड़ों को पूछ रहे सीता कहाँ गई। ये विफलता उन्हें दिखाने की जरूरत क्या है? खोजई सो कि अज्ञ इव नारी, एक अज्ञ of a human being who is not a mere mortal, but even amongst the mere mortals, he's acting as someone who is not elevated. Why does he have to do that act in the human form? Because the human form gives us a lot of bandwidth of behavior. We can be stoic, we can be calm, we can be quiet, or we can be very agitated. Why is he moving on the agitated side? Why can't he just be quiet and display his quietude? Why is he getting into this viraha vikalata, even if he's a human? That is the continuous doubt that is pestering her. That's one
हम्म,
aspect of it. The second aspect is my husband, who is Jagat Vandya, is bowing down to this person whom I don't think is Brahman. So what is going on? That's the second doubt.
या तो वही बात है ना कि उनको ये शंका क्यों है कि वो उनके सामने नतमस्तक हो रहे हैं और वो करने की जरूरत नहीं है ऐसा। तो यही जो है वो कि विश्वास सबसे ऊपर है, विश्वास रखना सबसे जरूरी है।
Exactly. Which is why she will be reborn as Parvati.
हम्म,
And
Can
then,
I offer
yeah, yeah,
another perspective? Just a thought. This is
yeah.
so interesting. It is so beautifully put. I just think that there are no absolutes. And जो सती की continued शंका जो है, her continued, of thing of not being convinced, I think it kind of represents a lot of us, and I don't mean me personally, I just mean a lot of us who have, who are constantly questioning. And um, I think we all have freedom as to how we devote ourselves to God, how we worship Him. There are ways, there are rituals, there are means, there is Shraddha, there is Vishwas. Everyone chooses their own path, but eventually, at the end of the day, there is nothing absolute. So I believe that there will always be one aspect where, which will kind of, keep coming up. The more we think, okay, this is perfect and this is the right path, another challenge will come up where we, which will kind of reinforce the fact that it is not absolute. I don't know. I mean, it's just a thought.
लेकिन मेरी समझ छोटी है, लेकिन शंकर जी चाहते हैं कि एब्सोल्यूट ही होना चाहिए। आपका विश्वास एब्सोल्यूट होना चाहिए, उसमें संशय की जगह नहीं होनी चाहिए। ऐसा वो शायद बताना चाह रहे हैं सती को, पार्वती को।
I don't.
I'm on mute. Yeah, in the larger context, ma'am, that's exactly where the story is going to lead us to, because then Sati will go on that search. This will unfold in the next Chopai Doha blocks. She will have to be reborn as Parvati, and then her doubts will finally be put to rest. So the leitmotif that is being told to us over here is that you have to at times have a certain shraddha, not superstitious blind faith, but you have to have a certain trust, a certain faith, a certain vishwas, and then move on the path. And of course, there'll be doubts that will come your way that can be addressed. But if you are in this continuous mode of ye hai kya ye hai, nothing will get resolved. And that is being represented by Sati. And on the other hand, her questions are not completely invalid. She's saying, I'm not going to believe my husband blindly. He might be Shivji, but I am Sati myself. He might tell me something, but I am his better half. I am part of him, and I have this doubt. So Goswamiji is using this poetic trope to tell us that these doubts are genuine, but they can be addressed. All right. Anything else? So for those of you all who don't know, ma'am used to teach us dohas of Goswamiji in school, and she spent a large part of her life in Prayagraj, Varanasi, and Chandigarh, and she used to teach Hindi literature in the university, and for personal reasons then later decided to come to Pune and teach in a school. So, just take all the doubts that she asks with a pinch of salt.
Santosh, enough of that. This wasn't needed at all.
All right. Okay. So for those of you all who don't know, Patwardhan ma'am was our Hindi and German teacher in school. So. All right. Okay. So now we'll take.
एक छोटी सी बात मैं फिर भी कहना चाहती हूँ कि वो तुलसीदास जी बीच बीच में मुझे बहुत अखरते हैं, क्योंकि वो अब देखो ऐसे नेगेटिव चीजों के लिए वो स्त्री सुलभ क्यों? संशय क्या पुरुषों को नहीं होते हैं, स्त्री को ही होते हैं खाली। तो ये दिस इज अपार्ट फ्रॉम द रोचक कथा, लेकिन ये कहना क्यों जरूरी था कि स्त्री सुलभ जो भावना है उसके हिसाब से उन्होंने ये सब कहा है ना। यहाँ
ये तो बहुत अच्छा आपने कहा है सरोज मैम। संशय तो सभी को होते हैं।
संशय सभी को होते हैं।
Parvati is saying that even if I'm doubtful, I have the right to have doubt, and I will not agree with what Shivji is saying, even though he's supreme and all powerful. That is also woman.
Yeah. So remember that when we were doing the verses earlier in the Amuk section, we had said Gira aratha jala vichi sama kahiyata bhinna na bhinna. Just like words and their meaning and waves and water cannot be separated, the feminine and the masculine are one, and they reside in each one of us. So we can, turn the gender debate head over heel and say that Goswamiji has already clarified that earlier, saying these two are part of both male and female. And the doubt side is the feminine side, the Vishwas and understanding side is the male side. It doesn't matter if you flip the coin and say that the understanding side is the feminine and the doubt side is masculine, because both of them reside in us. Goswamiji has done that rider already earlier, saying, Gira aratha jala vichi sama kahiyata bhinna na bhinna. They aren't separate even though they appear separate. And then he's also talked of the union of Shiva and Parvati as Ardhanarishwar, in which there's half feminine and half masculine in one body. So this idea is not a modern take on this. It is a very traditional idea that both these reside in one being, and Brahman is beyond that. It is neither feminine, it is neither masculine. It pervades both, but is beyond both. But in the social context, absolutely. I mean, that's a different discussion altogether.
क्योंकि बहुत बाद में भी सुंदरकांड में तो उन्होंने जो कहा है वो कहा ही है, वो तो उस पे तो बहुत ज्यादा
घोर गवार शूद्र पसुनारी सब है ताड़ना के अधिकारी।
बिल्कुल। तो वो तो खैर, लेकिन पूरे रामचरितमानस में भी कहीं 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 वो ये बात एक
आती है।
शब्द छोड़ देते हैं, तो
जी।
ठीक
So,
है।
so one way to look at it is the perspective and the critical eye that you brought in, ma'am. And the other is, of course, what Goswamiji has told in the beginning, that I am not addressing social issues and gender issues here. I'm addressing the masculine and feminine within each and every one of us. And gira rath jalavichi sama kahiyat bhinna nabhin. All right. Anything else?
No, but so many social issues have been addressed by so many,
Yeah.
which are relevant even today.
Even today, yeah.
I just want to make one comment. It's not a
Yeah.
question, that I'm just marveling at how the teacher is teaching the teacher, and we are all learning from the great teacher, and it's just all very special, because this elliptical is something that will just carry on and on.
Yeah. So there's Goswamiji to us, there's Shivji, Parvatiji in the form of Sati, there's Yajnavalkya and Bharadwaj. So it's all, and all these layers are being unfolded over here. And now we try and address this question, okay, who is this Ram? Ye Ramji hai kaun? And for that, let us begin with a context, saying, okay, there was some historical Ram that happened, but is this the view of our Shastras? Is this the view of the Puranas? Now, this will be a slightly longish discussion, so I would request your attention time span for a moment to really get to the Ram Tattva, because that is very essential, because now we are moving and entering the territory of the Ramayana story. So we begin with the Yuga cycle. So we have seen many times that there are 4 Yugas. There's Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. And these 4 yugas make one Mahayuga. Currently, we are in the Kali Yuga. We have seen that many, many times. We have also seen that if we take Kali to be 1 unit, Dwapar is 2 units, Treta 3, and Satya 4. So Satya is to be said to have 4 legs, Treta 3, Dwapar 2, and Kali has only 1 leg. It is a one-legged being, which is to say that there's a steady moral deterioration from one yuga into the other. Now, how long is the Kali Yuga, and is there any absolute reference to this? There is an absolute reference to this in this Bhagavad Puran Skanda 3. There it clearly defines the Kali Yuga to be 432,000 years, human years, like our sense of time. We'll come to the relativity of time also. And none of this is a modern spin. I'm going to quote very concrete verses to make sure that we are not doing any modern spinning and rationalizing of what we are charting out over here. So the Kali Yuga is said to be 432,000 years according to the Bhagavad Puran. It clearly defines the unit. It is made of 3 parts, 2 sandhyas. The dawn of Kali, the dusk of Kali. After the dusk, it rolls back to Satya. So it is, I wouldn't say it is cyclic, it is conical, because every cycle is not exactly the same. It doesn't have a mathematical certainty. Otherwise, it will be very boring. There has to be some space for difference. So it is like a cone. It's not like the same circle coming again and again. What do we mean by that? I'll explain that later. So Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. It has a dawn period of 36,000 years. It has a dusk period of 36,000 years. And the core Kali Yuga, in which the Kalimala is, just bubbling forth, is 360,000 years. Together, they add up to 432,000 years. When did Ramayana happen? It happened in the Treta Yuga. So going purely by these texts, some Ramayana might have happened 1,000,000 years ago. Now, what is all this? How does it map to the current timeline of Ramayana having happened 5,000 years ago, etc.? Or 10,000 years ago, or whatever, there are X number of dates. So we'll come to why these dates are put the way they are put and what exactly do they mean. And I plead for your attention for the next 10 to 15 minutes. So by the end of it, we have a certain understanding of how the tradition is looking at the whole Avatar Leela and the essence of reincarnation. not reincarnation, of avatara, of incarnation. So Kali Yuga is 432 years. The Dwapar becomes twice as much, which is 864. The Treta becomes about 1.2 million. And the Satya becomes 4 times of 432. You can do the math yourself, which is 1.7 roughly million years. And all these put together make 4 million years, which is a 1 Yuga cycle. That's the scale which we think is grand. We think, oh my God, this is such a grand scale. This is but a speck of dust. So just see the depth of the Indian mind that said that 4 million years is a speck of dust, right? This is how the Bhagavad Purana classifies the yogas. Now, what happens after the end of the Kali Yuga? What happens next? So let's take a look at what's happening after that. So 1 yuga is 400 and 1 yuga was roughly 1 point. No, how much was it? Sorry, even I'm getting confused now. We had said that 1 yuga was, yeah, I'm right, 4.3 million years. These 4 yugas to traverse need 4.3 million years. Now, when these 4.3 million years are traversed, it is called 1 Mahayuga, which Mahayuga is nothing but these 4 cycles are done. Now, 71 such Mahayugas is called 1 Manvantara, which means that for 71 Mahayugas, there is 1 Manu. Manu is considered the progenitor from which the whole of all species originated. So, 1 Manu lasts for 71 such cycles, after which the Manu himself dissolves and a new Manu is created. That's the Puranic imagination of the time scale. And these are not to be taken literally. These are to be taken as pegs for us to fathom the depthlessness of time. It is so vast that we can have no idea of what it means. So 4.3 million years is 1 yuga cycle. 71 Mahayugas make 1 Manvantara. 14 such Manvantaras are the core, and there are Manvantara Sandhis, and these together, which is 1,000 Mahayugas. So forget all this math now and just concentrate on this part, the last part. 1,000 Mahayugas make 1 day of Brahma, which is called a Kalpa. So you have 1 yuga, which is made of Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. These 4 units become 1 Mahayuga. 1,000 such Mahayugas become 1 Kalpa. And that 1 Kalpa is considered to be 1 day of Brahman. So far, not Brahman, but Brahma, Brahmadev. 1 day of Brahma, which roughly comes to about 4.3 billion years. Right? This is 1 day of Brahma. Now, Brahma himself lives for a grand 100 years, but of his time. So our 4.320000000 years equates to 1 day of Brahma, and it is imagined that he stays for 100 such days, which is the next slide now. Why am I telling this will be clear very shortly. So you have basically 1,000 Mahayugas make 1 Kalpa, which is 1 day of Brahma, and Brahma himself lives for 100 years of his years. So 1 Kalpa is 1 day of Brahma. He lives for, his year is then of 360 such days, which is 4320000 blah 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 into 360, and that 100 years into 100 is the life of Brahma, after which Brahma himself dissolves and there is complete quietude, and then a new generation begins. How does this math add up? We basically then have 1 Mahayuga will have 1 Treta Yuga, right? A Mahayuga is made up of 4 cycles: Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. So every Mahayuga will have 1 Treta Yuga. And it is said that Rama was born in the Treta Yuga. Ek bar Treta Yuga mahi. In some Treta Yuga, Agastya Muni was telling the story of the Ramayana. Now, in 1 Kalpa or in 1 day of Brahma, there will be 1,000 Mahayugas, which means there will be 1,000 Treta Yugas as well. In 1 night of Brahma also, there will be such 1000 Treta Yugas. For a full Brahma cycle of 24 hours Brahma time, we will have 2000 Treta Yuga slots. So far, so good. Any confusion on this? One Brahma year, Brahma time, 360 cycles will be 360 times 2000, which is 720,000 Treta Yuga slots. 100 Brahma years, a full lifespan of Brahma will be 72 million Treta Yugas. So for one Brahma's lifetime, there will be 72 million Treta Yugas. So if you take a very, very laid back static math saying Ram is always born in the Treta Yuga, and in one Brahma life cycle, you have 72 million Treta Yugas, there will be 72 million Rams. Which Ram are we talking about? Usme 5000 saal pehle hue Ram is but a speck of sand on the ocean of bhakti, in the ocean of Ram, on the ocean, in the ocean of Ram, or around the sandy banks of bhakti. So get this vastness of the scale that the Indian mind is fathoming. Don't think of 500 years or 5000 years. We are talking of, and this is directly from the Puranas, it is not made up, it is very clearly mentioned in Bhagavata. 72 million Treta Yugas. That's the time frame that the Indian mind is imagining. Saying, these cycles will come again and again. और कोई किसी एक बार के त्रेता युग में एक राम जी जन्मे थे, उनकी कथा मैं आपको सुना रहा हूं, शिव जी, says Agastya, right? So now which Ram are we talking about? Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. There is no end to these stories of Ram. Sajali, I'll come back to you. Let me just finish this articulation. Now, it still means that the Ramayana is played repeatedly again and again and again. But the story doesn't stop there, because there are many such Brahmas happening all over the place. So basically it is saying that if you think that the vastness of time and space is captured in the lifetime of one Brahma, Brahma himself keeps coming and dying, which is to say that life generates, vanishes, generates, vanishes. This just goes on and on. But from the divine, many such Brahmas emanate, and now bring forth the picture of Sheshashai Vishnu lying in the ocean of nothingness. From his Nabhi Kamal emerges a lotus on which Brahma stays. All of us have seen that image. That image depicts this vastness of time that the Indian mind has imagined. That one Brahma is born from there, but 1000 such Brahmas are coming from the pores. I said park the idea of horripilations. When Shivji's hair stands on end, when he sees Ram, I said park that in your mind. We'll come to that reference. This is the reference. भगवान के भारतीय मानस ने भगवान की जो कल्पना की है, उसमें भगवान के एक एक रोम से, एक एक शरीर के बाल से एक एक ब्रह्मांड लटका हुआ है. That's the imagination. That the body of divinity is infinite. Now, just get this. If we say that the body of divinity is infinite, can you say कि ये भगवान की आंख है, ये भगवान का आंख है, ये भगवान का कान है? You can't say that. क्योंकि अगर भगवान ही कभी शुरू नहीं होते और कभी खत्म नहीं होते, कभी समाप्त नहीं होते, तो इनकी आंख शुरू समाप्त हो सकती है, उनका हाथ शुरू समाप्त हो सकता है, उनकी आंखें, नाक, कान, जिह्वा शुरू समाप्त हो सकते हैं. It is this vastness of infinitude that the Indian mind is grasping through this play of years and cyclicity. So there are possibilities of 72 million Rams being born in one Brahma's lifetime, and many such Brahmas hang from the hairs of divinity, which is to say that it is just beyond imagination. It is neti neti. Don't take this literally again. It's just the human mind imagining what infinite divinity can mean. If divinity is infinite, can his eye be limiting? Can his hand be limiting? It is all pervading. It is omnipresent, present, omnipotent. It is everywhere. And now with this understanding, we'll come to two beautiful verses. One from the Bhagavatam and one from the Rāmacaritamānasa itself, to bring forth the fact of the depths of the Manas, the depth to which Goswami ji goes and brings difficult concepts so easily, right? So what is the Bhagavata verse saying? This is from the Brahma Stuti. So again, in the Bhagavata, the cows have been stolen by Brahma. Krishna finds out that deceit. Brahma apologizes and goes into a stuti. And this part is from the Brahma Stuti, which is Canto 10. Brahma says, Where am I? A tiny creature measured at a mere 7 spans of my own hand. So if we say, it is said that if you take this as the span of your hand, every human is typically 7 times this size. So that's the reference here. Where am I? A tiny creature measured at a mere 7 spans of my own hand, enclosed inside a pot-like universe, Brahmanda, wrapped in thick layers of material elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, and the total materiality of energy. The question mark is, yeah, okay, where am I? Okay, so that question mark is right. So he said, Brahma just understands the sheer nothingness of his existence as compared to divinity. And where is your magnificent greatness? Countless massive universes stream through the pores of your skin like mere particles of dust floating through a window on a draft of wind. That's when we say divinity is infinite, that is what it means, right? Which also means that the only way to fathom divinity, to get hold of it, to get hold of that Ram Tattva, is to bring that divinity in this very instant of time. Because there is no other way. You will not be able to fathom it and box it saying, आज मैं 5 मिनट को infinity का access दूंगा, बाकी के 23 घंटे 55 मिनट में दुनियादारी में लग जाऊंगा. Every moment grace is showering on us. We just have to bring that infinity and reduce it, not reduce it, and intensify it into this moment of time. That's the Indian imagination. That's the tradition we belong to. That is the Ram Tattva. And now, if this is the case, and if he is shining forth in all of us, this divinity has to be searched within and not without. Because bahar khojoge to wo finite ho jayega. Because you will be excluded from it. Sirf andar khojoge to bahar ka nikal jayega. It is nirgun and sagun, it is everywhere. With this context now, we come to the Rāmacaritamānasa, in which Kausalya, the mother of Ram, is scared by seeing this huge form of Ram. This is a trope that comes again and again. The most famous one is, of course, Vishwarup Darshan in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna shows his grand form to Arjuna, and Arjuna says, oh, I've been calling you, hey Keshav, hey Madhav, please come down to your usual form. I'm scared of this now, I'm sorry. So he treats divinity as a friend and then wants it back as a friend again. He doesn't want that infinite trope. So with that context now, Ram has shown his form to Kausalya. Kausalya is scared. And then this is from that prasang. ब्रह्मांड निकाया निर्मित माया रोम रोम प्रतिवेदक है मम उरसो बासी यह उपहासी सुनत धीर मति थिर नर है उपजा जब ज्ञाना प्रभु मुसुकाना चरित बहुत विधि कीन्हच है कही कथा सुहाई मातु बुझाई जेहि प्रकार सुत प्रेमल है. सो ब्रह्मांड निकाया निर्मित माया रोम रोम प्रतिवेदक है. एक ब्रह्मदेव इज हाउ मच? It has 72 million Treta Yugas. So the potentialities of 72 avatars in one life of Brahma. और ऐसे भगवान के शरीर के एक एक रोम से ब्रह्मांड निकाया, groupings of such brahmandas are dangling from every single hair of divinity. That's the depth and wideness of the human mind that we are trying to reach. Brahmanda Nikaya Nirmita Maya, it is all a creation of Maya by that divinity. रोम रोम पे एक एक शरीर के, भगवान के शरीर के एक एक बाल पे ब्रह्मांड के घोंस लगे हैं. And we are talking of one Ram avatar at one point in time, X thousand years ago. Do you realize the minuscule nature of that search when we see this scale of divinity? Mama Uraso Basi. And the only way to access that divinity is to love him as a child, as a lover, as a friend, as a das. You have to humanize him because we have this human form. So Kausalya says, this divine form, Mama Uraso Basi, it was born in me, in my womb. It resides in my heart. Yaha upahasi. This is such a joke. Sunata dhira mati thira na rahe. My mind is not stable. I'm confused. I'm not confused. I'm overwhelmed with joy. And then Kausalya finally gets it. She gets who Ram is. She gets that divinity. Upaja jab agyana. When she understood who Ram is, Prabhu Musakana, Ram gave a little smile. Charita bahut vidhi keen hai, and he wants to do all his Bal Leelas. He wants to cry, he wants to run, and he wants Kausalya to just be a mom. Because you have to worship divinity in whatever form is available to you, because that's the only way you can worship it. If divinity is infinite, you have to bring it into the moment in time. And that is the tattva of Ram. Sagun bhi hai, nirgun bhi hai. He or bhi ka fark hai. It is that Ram that we are accessing, and all these leelas that are going on are gateways for us to turn the eye inward and access the divinity within. That's the reason of leela. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. What is that yuge yuge? It is this 72 million Treta Yugas that he'll come again and again and again. This is one part. The second part is, if we take, I'm continuously saying divinity within, divinity within, divinity within. Is this tradition or is this a modern spin? See, if we decide that there is God external to us and we are mere makings of the material world put together through some law of His, then we are separating the efficient cause from the material cause. हम बोल रहे हैं कि मिट्टी है, कुंभार है, और मिट्टी और कुंभार अलग अलग तत्वों से बने हुए हैं. निमित्त कारण है कुंभार और उपादान मटेरियल कारण है मिट्टी. एफिशिएंट कॉज जो ये सब बना रहा है वो कुंभार है, दैट्स द एफिशिएंट कॉज, एंड द मटेरियल कॉज इज मिट्टी. हमारा व्यू पॉइंट ये नहीं है. हमारा व्यू पॉइंट है अभिन्न निमित्तोपादान कारण. जो निमित्त कारण है मिट्टी और जो उपादान कारण है कुंभार, वो दोनों एक ही है. Only with that philosophical understanding can this divinity be born again and again, and it can reside within us. Otherwise it will be heresy. How can you be divine? Divinity has to be outside you. There has to be some messenger of that divinity, and you have to be the sinner. We are not absolute sinners. We are born divine, we are divine, we die divine. We either know it or we don't know it. That's the Indian vision. And if we grasp that vision, we will know what Ram represents. He represents that divinity, which no one gets, which is why everyone is confused as to who that Ram is. Even if he is born as a human, even if he has all the trappings of a human being, he has the full potency, he has the plenipotency to reach that divinity, because everyone is divine. Every blade of grass, every speck of sand, every amoeba, every insect, hathi, cheeti, mitti, khada, everything is divine, only on different scales of relative realization. With that view, we can have this avatar kriya happening again and again. So all these avatar kathas have to have a solid philosophical base below it, and that philosophical base is this abhinna nimittopadan karak. The efficient cause and the material cause are one and the same. They are not different. Only then you can say, look at the divinity within you. Otherwise, आपको divinity बाहर ही खोजना पड़ेगा. अच्छा, 72 million त्रेता युगास में 72 million राम हो गए. लेकिन ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि अभी तो त्रेता युग नहीं चल रहा है, तो कैसे हम खोजे राम को? So the Indian traditional exegesis on this goes one step beyond. It says, ये लीला चिरकाल सदैव चल रही है. You might have heard this phrase many a times. How does it add up to all this? Let's take a look at that. As I said, I just need 15 minutes of your time. We are almost done. So we can have various ways of looking at this yuga cycle. We can have a canonical kalpa avatara standard. So we can say that एक कल्प जो है वो ब्रह्मा जी का एक दिन है, और उसमें राम जी एक कल्प में एक बार ही अवतार लेते हैं, right? He doesn't appear in every Treta Yuga, but in one kalpa he appears only once. So वो 72 million से नीचे आ जाता है 36,000 तक, because everything has to be aligned for Ram to take birth. Only then he takes birth. He doesn't take birth in every Treta Yuga. That's one way of looking at it. तो आपने बना दिए 36,000. Now going back to 72 million, you might have heard that a few days ago there was a plebiscite in Switzerland in which they voted on whether to cap the population of Switzerland to 10 million or not. You all might have read that in the newspapers. और यहाँ पे हम बात करें राम जी 72 million है. So you get the scale at which the Indian mind is operating. Then it says, okay, हर त्रेता युग में छोड़ दो, वो नहीं जन्म रहे हैं, लेकिन एक कल्प में अगर वो जन्म लेते हैं तो 36,000 बन गए. There are many other views. There is one view which says कि हर एक कल्प में नहीं, 2-3 कल्पों में जन्म लेते हैं, तो there'll be 72,000 or 108,000 अवतारास. You could then say he appears one time per Mahayuga. There'll be 36 million. We've already seen that. हर एक त्रेता युग में अगर राम जन्मे तो एक ब्रह्मा जी के आयु में 36 मिलियन बार राम जी आएंगे. ऐसे ब्रह्मांडों के घोष डिविनिटी के शरीर के बालों पे लगे हैं. So there are infinite Ramas. Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. That's the meaning of that little Arthali. God is infinite, his stories are infinite. लेकिन फिर भी हम कह सकते हैं कि अगर वो 36 मिलियन है तो भी अभी रामायण कहीं पे हो रहा है, ऐसे हो ही नहीं सकता. सो द आनंद रामायण गोज अ स्टेप फर्दर. इट सेज कि हम इस ब्रह्मांड में जी रहे हैं, लेकिन ऐसे शरीर के किसी दूसरे शरीर में से, हम अभी तो कलयुग में हैं, लेकिन भगवान के शरीर में एक और कहीं पे तो बाल होगा, जिसमें कोई तो ब्रह्मांड निकला होगा, जिसमें त्रेतायुग चल रहा होगा. उधर राम की कथा में आपके मन में जो छवि है, what छवि do you have of Ram today? I have the छवि of Ram ji in Chitrakoot. You just need to map your mind to that hair braid of divinity's body on which in that Brahmanda Treta Yuga this enactment is happening. आप राम की कोई भी लीला लो, किसी ना किसी ब्रह्मांड में वो लीला हो रही है. इसीलिए रामायण अनंत है, सदैव चल रहा है और चलता रहेगा. That's how the Indian imagination understands divinity and Ram. And from that context, you have to understand Ram Avatar as being human, which is to say that even humans have the potency to reach divinity in this form. Yeah. So it was a longish exegesis, but it is necessary because Goswami ji is talking from this understanding. And if we don't have this, our confusion is only being reflected in the confusion of Sati as to who Ram is. Ram is residing in each and every one of us with all our limitations, pangs of sorrow, pangs of separation. Divinity resides within us. It is just for us to open the doorways to it. And this is possible because we have Abhinna Nimittopadan Karan, which is unified material and efficient cause. Else, what I'm saying will be complete heresy. All right? Any questions?
So
Sorry?
after that absolutely mind-boggling number of yugas and beyond, my question seems very, anyway, one, thank you for this, because I think the idea is to just take it beyond where the mind cannot fathom this now. So is it that in whichever Brahmand the Leela is unfolding, is it that there will be a Sati who has confusion and a Ravana for whom Ram has taken birth? That story remains the same, but
Yes.
it can be played. So that story is unchanging.
The broad brushstrokes are unchanging. The fine contours can change. इसीलिए कहते हैं कि हमने तो रामायण में ऐसे कहा है, ये रामायण तो कुछ आप अलग ही बोल रहे हो. So then the great आचार्य से हाँ वो तो कल्प भेद की बात है. वो कल्प की आप जो कथा कह रहे हो किसी और कल्प की है, हम जो कह रहे हैं वो किसी और कल्प की है. So the ability to shake the story here and there, to pull it as per your mood, as per the necessity of time is available, and that the reason for that is said as कल्प भेद की बात है. So आपने जो राम कथा सुनी वो किसी और कल्प की होगी, उसमें वो हुआ होगा. इस कल्प में तो ऐसी कथा ऐसे थी. But the broad contours of the painting remain the same. The fine contours can change.
आप ये भी देखो ना कि अलग अलग समय में अलग अलग आपको ज्ञान या विजडम भी आप सेम स्टोरी के थ्रू but depending on the time, the age or circumstances, you will take a different lesson each time from the Ramayana. That also I feel kind of reflects what you are saying again.
And see, now again, just see how wonderfully everything falls into place. In the Bhagavata, it is said that ये जो गोपी और कृष्ण की लीला हो रही है वो चिरकाल है. So they take one incident from that whole leela and say it is happening infinitely, which you can understand through this Brahmandas and horripilations and many Brahmandas hanging from the body hairs of divinity, which is infinite in itself. And in the Ramayana, You don't take one particular incident, but depending on your mood and the kind of mental makeup you have, you can access any story and say it is playing out at some Brahmanda somewhere. इसीलिए वो भी चिरकाल है. So I've got two verses to kind of खुंटी बळकट करणे ज्याला आपण मराठीत म्हणतो, to just validate my point of view, saying I'm not bringing in a modernist spin. This is a very traditional view. There is a famous Gaudiya Vaishnava verse that says, I meditate upon Lord Krishna, who is the absolute fulfillment of my Guru's innermost heart's desire. He's the radiant moon illuminating the forests of Vraja, beautifully dressed as a simple cowherd boy. He eternally, this is the operative word, Ananta Leela, he eternally performs his nectar-filled confidential pastimes alongside the ever-youthful gopis, ever-youthful, they never age, because ye Leela Chirkal hai, Anant hai, of Vrindavan. Guruvabhishta swarupam rajavipina vidhum gopavesham dadhanam saptamyadhishnya leelam vidadhata manisham navya gopanganabhi. And the other verse is from the Adhyatma Ramayana, in which it clearly says that those with deluded intellects, which is basically all of us, we are confused, which is why Goswamiji is taking all these efforts to explain what he means by that through the conversation of Sati and Shivji. Those with deluded intellects who revolve continuously in the cycle of birth and death do not see you. Even after knowing the Lord's playful pastime form, they fail to realize your supreme divine nature because they are covered by Maya, illusion, which is represented through the doubt of Sati. Natvam prapashyanti vimugdha buddhayaha samsara chakre parivartamanaha jnatva pilila tanumishwarasya maya vrutatvat paramam nabhavam. Even if they understand the Leela of Ishvara because of Maya, they do not understand what it really represents. So whatever I have been saying, as I said, has already been addressed by the tradition many times before. There's nothing new. But this is the canvas on which Ram is looked at by the tradition. Don't search for him at one historical point X thousand years ago. That's not Ram. Ram is a representation of divinity. Okay. Sorry for your attention seeking, but this had to be told so that it gives us access to the story later. Any questions?
And Ramayana has been happening and it will continue to happen in our lives.
Absolutely. Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. So now we fully at least get a glimpse of what Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta means.
Yeah. Namaste.
Any further questions? Was it too confusing, or is this matrix?
That's good.
It was
No. Wasn't confusing at all. Not at all. Not at all.
And
You've
so,
been able to bring home the point.
Yeah.
You've done it beautifully.
thank you. So basically, we killed Sati today, and we are having a glimpse of Parvati. So that story we will start unfolding from next time. So
I also believe, I think this is like a constant thing in our lives. I mean, it is very easy to forget the points that you've just put forth. I mean, personally, I believe that each time I listen to the story, each time, I hear it from someone else or I read it myself, it tells me something. Sometimes it just reminds me of something that I probably am already aware of, but I'm not able to kind of, use it properly or apply it properly. And each time it kind of just elevates my thinking. I mean, I don't want to kind of I think my quality of life, it elevates my quality of life and the choices then I make. I mean, the lessons are really slivers. They are not very big or powerful, but with each sliver, each time, it's like, it's like a little.
Yeah.
You just kind of move up.
it's
much.
always iterative. It's shanai. It happens in quasi-static steps. You feel
Yes.
you've not moved anywhere. You feel you've moved 2 steps back, but you're plodding forward. And I've got a verse over here. We'll conclude with that. I'll just ask one more minute of yours and then we'll conclude. Because all this mapping that we did of time, space, infinity. See, if you go to a traditional acharya who's learned in a pathshala, He is fully aware of all these things. He exactly knows what Haryananta Harikathananta means. And this is exactly how they unfold it to you. So these are not some mumbo jumbo stories. They have depths of philosophy in it. We just scrapped the surface today. But now, in case any of you all have done any pujas, there's a sankalpa that we do at the beginning. And with everything that we've discussed today, now this sankalpa falls beautifully into the place. So I've picked up the sankalpa. Let's say we are doing a puja in Varanasi today. What will the sankalpa read as? Om Vishnur Vishnuhu Om Adya Brahmanonhi Dvitiya Parardhe Shri Shveta Varaha Kalpe Vaivasvatamanvantare Ashtav Vishatitame Kali Yuge Kali Prathama Charane Jambudvipe Bharata Khande Bharata Varshe Punya Kshetre Varanasi Kshetrantaragate Dashashvamedha Tirthe Ganga Tate पराभवनाम्नि संवत्सरे उत्तरायणे ग्रीष्मऋतौ ज्येष्ठमासे शुक्लपक्षे पंचम्यातिथौ भृगुवासरे अश्लेषा नक्षत्रे. Time, space, and the cyclicity of time is mapped in each and every sankalpa that happens in any traditional puja. We don't know the meaning, but it is there. This sankalpa, you all might have listened to it so many times in any puja that you do. आप पहले संकल्प जो करते हैं, what does it mean? Om Vishnu Vishnu Vishnu. That divine form from whose hairs all these khos lage hue hai Brahmando, okay? Today, on the day of Lord Brahma time, in the second half of his lifespan, yeah, Brahma time, second half of his lifespan, in the Shri Shvetavaraha eon or Kalpa, we saw what a Brahmanda is, we saw what Brahma time is. In this Kalpa that we are existing currently is the Shvetavaraha Kalpa. In the reign of Vaivasvata Manu, we saw what a Manvantara was like. So there are many Manus that keep coming and going. The current Manu is Vaivasvata Manu. In the 28th cycle of the 4 ages, so this Kali Yuga is the 28th Kali Yuga in the very first quarter of the age of Kali. So in that Kali Yuga matrix, we are in the first quarter. On the continent of Jambu, in the land of Bharata, in the nation of India, Bharatavarsha, in the holy pilgrimage land of Varanasi. So time is fixed, now space is being fixed. Within the sacred region of Varanasi, at the holy Dashashwamedh Ghat, and then micro time is being fixed on the banks of the river Ganga in the Vedic year named Parabhava Samvatsara 2083, during the northern transit of the sun, Uttarayana, in the summer season, in the lunar month of Jyeshtha, in the bright waxing fortnight, on the 5th lunar day Panchami, on Friday, under the cosmic star constellation of Ashlesha. So you fix macro time, you fix space, you fix micro time, you do the sankalpa, and then you start your puja. And the entire game of time that we saw today comes out in the rituals also. So it's an embodied tradition. It's not some theory that we are looking at and practice is something else. The practice is infused with all these concepts, even though we are not always like 100% aware of them. So on that note, we stop today and conclude with our closing prayer.
Yeah.
Yatra yatra Raghunath Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Krutamastakaanjalim Vashpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namatarakshasantakam.
What's yatra yatra?